and welcome to our World Cup qualifying special of the Drawhunter. I am your charming host, Kevin Cleary, and this is the only soccer gambling podcast where we don't pick any winners. We hunt for the result that pays better than most win bets. We hunt for the draw. I've been a sports bettor for a long time. I like to bet the draw because draws happen a lot. 30% of all soccer pro matches end in a draw, and it's like this every season worldwide in all the major leagues and international competitions. That's not random. That's not a fluke. That's a probability. So we look for the hidden value draws where the market is pricing outcomes too heavily towards favorites or volatility. These are the games where parity pays off in profits for you and me. And look, even if you want to bet on winners, and I do that too, you can't bet draws all the time. Running down the games for this kind of perspective is still a valuable handicapping tool, and betting on sports is about gathering as much useful information as possible so you can make the correct decisions. And of course, if you're listening to the Drawhunter podcast tonight, congratulations, you're already ahead of the curve. Let's talk about our games this week. We're going to be covering 8 World Cup qualifying games. They're all being played on Thursday this week. And we looked at them all, ran the numbers. And I personally think that 3 of them have the numbers, teams, and history that could end in a draw, possibly go to extra time or penalty kicks, and pay off for you and me as gamblers. These fixtures usually combine low scoring averages, balanced possession rates, historical draw frequencies, and market pricing that combine to give us this contrarian value. But these games are going to be taking place on March 26th, Thursday. And again, they are World Cup 2026 qualifying games for the last teams trying to fight their way in. The first one of our draw contenders is Czechia versus the Republic of Ireland. This game is being played in Prague. It's a home game for Czechia. They're minus 105. Ireland is plus 280. The draw is plus 240. Ball possession rates, Czechia is at 54%. Ireland's at 44%. Czechia knows how to score. They've scored 18 goals in these competitions, and they've allowed 8 goals scored. Ireland is tighter. They've scored 9 goals and allowed 7, but they're still here. In the 3 most recent meetings between these two teams, there have been 2 draws. Both of those draws were 1-1, one goal apiece, and then there was 1 win. But they're very tight historically. And on the injury report, there's no major fresh absences flagged in any current previews or anything like that. So it looks like both of these squads are close to or at full strength. But this is a classic playoff draw material game. Modest goal totals on both sides, similar defensive records, and a long head-to-head history of 1-goal games and a lot of 1-1 games. Czechia have a bit more attacking quality this year and a home advantage, but Ireland's style, which is compact, direct, and happy to play without the ball, naturally drags games towards the lower margins as far as scoring goes. The market has Czechia as a fair favorite, but the draw sits in a sweet spot where both a 0-0 and a 1-1 exact score are very live, especially if Ireland scores first and then bunkers down. This is, I think, one of the better draw candidates on the board. This profile screams a tight, nervy, 1 goal or less type of game. Next up, we've got Slovakia versus Kosovo. And this is a home game for Slovakia. Again, fighting to get into the World Cup 2026 qualifying here. And Slovakia is minus 115. Kosovo is plus 285. The draw is plus 220. Slovakia has the ball about 53% of the time. Kosovo has the ball about 44% of the time. A lot less scoring by these two teams in this tournament. Slovakia has scored 6 times. They've allowed 8 goals. Kosovo has scored 6 times. They've allowed 5 goals. Now, there's no prior competition between these two teams as far as I could see in any research. This is a fresh matchup. So that activates the risk aversion mode for this game, especially for the first half. I like this. This is also I would bet the first half of this game as a draw. Also, that would be a big bet for me on this one this week. But when you don't know a team on the pitch, the managers like to feel it out for a while, and not get into, again, risk aversion. There is an injury report on this game. Sotka is out with a broken hand for Slovakia, and Bozanic is doubtful with a shoulder injury. Kosovo has no major fresh absences reported. But this is a sneaky even kind of a tie. Slovakia have a home advantage, but modest attacking numbers and a negative goal difference. Kosovo travel well, and they have been grinding out results with tight defensive structures and very narrow wins. The market is relatively balanced, I think, in spite of Slovakia being a favorite here. With they're leaning towards Slovakia, and a low total under 2.5 goals is favored right now, which is exactly the profile you want for draw hunting. With both sides lacking a true elite finisher and likely to be very cautious early, again, risk aversion game, 0-0 at 90 minutes feels very plausible. 0-0 at the half mark at 45 minutes feels very plausible here. It's quietly a very strong draw spot with really balanced odds and a low total and conservative playoff incentives for both the teams and the managers that are on the pitch on Thursday. Next up, we've got potentially a really good game, Ukraine versus Sweden. Now, this one's being played at the Estadio Ciudad de Valencia in Spain. This is a neutral game because of the situation, the war in Ukraine. So Ukraine is technically the home team here, but it's technically in actuality it's being played on a neutral site. And Ukraine is technically the home team here, and they're plus 180. Sweden is the away team. I am using two finger quotes there, and they're plus 145. The draw is plus 200. Ukraine, they like to have the ball 52% of the time. They have the ball in possession on the pitch. Sweden is a little less, 45%. Ukraine has 10 goals in this competition. They've allowed 7. Sweden has 4 goals and allowed 8. And yet they're still here, grinding things out. Last 4 games between these two teams, they have played each other a few times in international competitions over the last couple of years, and there was 1 draw, and the other 3 were all 1-goal games. Excuse me. Ukraine has, on the injury report, Ukraine has Talavarov out. I hope he doesn't get offended if I messed up his name. Sweden has Starfelt out, and Svanberg is doubtful. Or actually, both of them are doubtful, not completely out. But I see this as really a coin flip tie on very neutral ground. With neither side in dominant form, they've got some injuries, and both leaning on structured mid-section blocks rather than an all-out attack. Sweden's recent scoring slump and Ukraine's slightly better attacking output point to a very low-scoring, very tense game. Ukraine makes every game tense, where 1 goal could decide this game. The odds are compressed. The total leans under. The head-to-head history is full of single-goal margins and a draw. This is perfect draw territory, especially for a 1-1 score. This is another game that I like for a draw at halftime, probably 0-0. If either side scores early, the other one has enough quality to respond and equalize, but not necessarily to run away with it. Top tier draw candidate for this week in a very thin week of international games, because we're on this international break now from all the leagues and everything like that. But this is a very balanced matchup in a neutral venue, and I think the neutral venue means something here. And that's a strong 1-1 profile. So there you go. Did I make a good case for these draws? Email me and let me know what you think. But that's it for this episode of the Drawhunter. I am still your charming host, Kevin Cleary. New episodes drop twice a week, on Mondays for all the midweek action like this episode, Thursdays for the weekend slate. But you should really subscribe to the show so you don't miss any of those episodes. Please, you can do it at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts, wherever you might have found us on the internet today. If you have any questions, comments, complaints, go ahead. Email us at drawhunterpodcast@gmail.com. And from the entire Drawhunter team, thank you for listening and spending some time with us. And remember, there's no stopping it. Draws will happen. Gambling involves risk. Please gamble responsibly. This show is for informational and entertainment purposes only. No guarantees are made regarding results or financial gain. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. You must be of legal age to participate in gambling activities. Check your local laws and regulations before placing any bets. This podcast was made by humans. Accept no substitutes.